Hello everyone, welcome back to Hamburg, where Eustace von is currently besieging the place. I think we're going to have to move Bjorn into reinforce here, which will apparently result in excommunication, so let's deal with that very quickly. Well, no, I keep forgetting that we have a constant source of income heading into the pocket of the Pope, so I think we'll be fine if we attack. There we go. Mission failed. We do have, well, we had a mission to cease hostilities with the Kingdom of Denmark, but of course, we're going to disregard that and acquire Hamburg. I left Bjorn at the bridge to defend from incursion by Captain Håkon or any other reinforcements from the north, you know, the rest of Denmark in the north, but now that Captain Håkon has turned around, we now have to be wary of reinforcements from elsewhere in the Danish Empire. So that would be reinforcements from the south, like Magdeburg. There's a few stacks in Magdeburg, so I think we'll have to attack pretty quickly here before any further reinforcements appear. So that is why we've got Bjorn, the turncoat, now building siege equipment so we can attack Hamburg next turn. We have Gunnar here of Klujorp, I don't know, and I think we can probably try to assassinate him with Gerard of Lumley. No, it's not looking good. We could possibly kill a Norwegian merchant. No. There's no good targets for Gerard Lumley, unfortunately. Aston Hardwick is currently spying on this merchant because he doesn't have enough skill to really do anything of import. So I think we're just training him on these Danish armies and whatnot. See, for example, there, he wasn't strong enough and he died. But we did spot Ulf, luckily, who is now in the fog of war. So let's try to get Gerard to kill Ulf, potentially. That would be great. 41%, not really that great either. Our agents actually blow, unfortunately for us. So our spy has been killed. We failed this mission, which was this mission to cease hostilities with Denmark. It appears that Eleanor Seymour is past childbearing age. She is barren as all hell. Eustace von is trying to adopt Baldwin of Hartford, and we're not going to do that. We want to, as always, try to strengthen our bloodlines, which doesn't really seem like it's happening. I think our bloodlines are going to die out, like, fully. Unfortunately for us, we gained like 20,000 florins this turn. Rufus Boyd, our merchant in Francia here, trading in glasswares, has died, unfortunately. And our backup merchant, we had a merchant in Cologne, and it's Reynold Mortimer, and he was going to move to trade in wine in Francia, but we may as well get him to begin trading this glass, because, like I said, what's his nuts died? It was Rufus Boyd. Rufus Boyd died. Unfortunately, Christopher de la Warre, our priest in Lithuania, has also died. So that is the end of our crusade for conversion in Lithuania, unfortunately. We've got Frost of Rothwell here, and he is ready to recruit a bunch of new Christians in the Lithuanian lands. What we're going to do, though, is grab Guy Seaton here. We'll attack this rebel army eventually, destroy it, mount up on this fleet here and sail towards Kalmar. That's what's going to happen. And then once our army reaches Kalmar, we'll turn right around to Lithuania with our two priests and begin crusading there. It looks like a Portuguese cardinal has died, so that opens up another seat for one of our English bastards to take his place. And then our grasp upon the College of Cardinals will be complete, actually. So we've finished a building in Angers, and there's nothing to build in Angers anymore, and it's going to be a while until Angers is ready to upgrade, if it can upgrade at all. Okay, we built some council chambers in Toulouse, and now we can build a market. I closed the construction tab there, unfortunately, so we have no idea what is building where, unfortunately. So I'm going to quickly take a look at what we're building here, and I'll see you when I'm done. There's quite a lot of our cities that can't actually build anything because they are fully upgraded. For example, Clermont, we cannot build anything because it is at max capacity, and it doesn't look like it's going to be growing anytime soon, if at all. Okay, so we now have a new hulk in Bordeaux. That's Admiral Philibert's fleet. We've got our archers in Visby, a new ship in Visby, etc. Tons of new units all around. I'm recruiting a few units in Marseille because once Miles Mordaunt takes care of this rebel army. Oh shit. We can adopt Miles Mordaunt, and we're going to decline, actually. I'm sure he would have liked that, us accepting him into the royal family, but it's not going to happen. Because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to recruit another little militia army via Miles Mordaunt here, and he is going to march towards Genoa. And he can possibly capture Genoa with support from Hugh de Beaune, or alternatively, Miles is going to support Hugh de Beaune, or vice versa. But we've got Captain Philip heading to Bern. I think we'll leave Captain Philip in Bern for now, actually, because the Venetians are marching out of Innsbruck. So if they try to attack us in the rear, they'll take Bern unopposed and possibly crush us in Milan once our supplies, air quotes, have been cut off. So we'll leave this quite strong army in Bern, and looks like Hugh de Beaune is going to have to wait for some more professional reinforcements elsewhere. Perhaps Lyon. I'm not quite sure, though. Oh, shit. Hungary is now allied with the Byzantines. The Byzantines are at peace with Poland. Cumans at peace with Hungary. And it looks like Hungary is now a client kingdom of the Byzantines, because they've only got 2 little territories within the Byzantine Empire. They're like a tumor within the Byzantine lands, and holy shit, Alfred of Rutland was right there to witness this very action. And look at this, we can actually spy on this princess here, and there we go. Oh my goodness, Constantinople is I guess she is certainly of royal blood, but there we go. Looks like Alfred here is now quite the spy. He has got 5 or 6 points of skill. He is the guild master, of course, and we may as well send him further into Byzantine lands. Oh my goodness. The Cumans have actually pushed into the north of the Byzantine territories. Look at this. Looks like the Cuman Khanate has taken some territories, unfortunately, from the Byzantines. And the Turks have actually pushed a little further into Byzantine lands as well. That's kind of weird. I guess we'll see more of that as we march southwards. Now, as for Byzantine lands, we do have some merchants now having landed within Greece here, and they're going to trade in marble as best they can. What is this up here? This is not marble, but we will just focus on this marble. There we go. I don't think there's much to trade in Thessalonica. I don't really know what this is. It's not worthwhile in trade either. There is, of course, that gold mine up in Hungary. Or it's a silver mine, my mistake. We can send France Wells up there if we really wanted to. Oh, is that a gold mine right there? Hard to say. Anyway, we may as well just drop all of these agents off at Constantinople, Istanbul, and we'll go from there. I think our agents are pretty self-sufficient here in the Middle East. We're not going to be able to do a single damn thing. We can try to kill this heretic Randolph. Randolph Daunt, what a name. Because, my god, he is pretty much impervious to damage, unfortunately. And our assassins are actually quite useless within the Holy Lands as well. When we crusade for Jerusalem, I'm sure these assassins will be worthwhile, but right now, a little useless, it's got to be said. Our fleet is now returning from the Holy Lands, and they're going to be arriving in Marseille within another 2 years, perhaps? Another year or two? Okay, what else is going on? Yeah, so we're recruiting a bunch of units in Marseille. Perhaps we can recruit a few in Toulouse. I'm not going to bother. We can recruit a merchant in Toulouse, though, and maybe we will. We'll see if we can send him into Iberia to trade in some shit. I forgot that. We've got George Cranmer here trading in marble right outside Pamplona. I'm not sure what else there is to trade that's, you know, that's worthwhile in Iberia. Oh, there's some sugar right in the middle of the peninsula that we could perhaps get our hands on if we are quick about it. Okay, you know what? I think... oh yes, I totally forgot. We are actually besieging Frankfurt right now. Ralph of York is waiting right now to receive some reinforcements from Captain Arthur. We did recruit some of these Prussian spearmen because their stat line is nearly identical to our very spearman sergeants. So, well, of course, except for the upkeep. So, if we ever need any reinforcements in the form of armored spearmen. Prussian spearmen are the way to go. But there we go. We've now got a bunch of English recruits on their way to our armies. Ralph of York is now ready to rock. Let's see, we'll just quickly organize his army here. Grab all of our bowmen, our mangonel, spear units, of course, crossbows as well. I should have grabbed the crossbows with the bows, and then, of course, all of our melee infantry. And there we go. We are ready to rock. We're going to march towards Nuremberg and try to coax the Danes into a field attack right outside of Nuremberg, and then we can march on the place and potentially take it. As for Frankfurt, we are currently starving out the men. There's another 5 turns until they give up. But I think we won't starve them completely. I just want to weaken their units as much as possible. I've got Lawrence Gifford here at the borders of Metz and, well, technically Lorraine and Francia, because he's going to plop some watchtowers. He is, of course, the Comte de Champagne, so he is the Lord of Dijon, perhaps? No, is it Reims? I believe. I can't really remember. Yes, it's Reims. Now, I'm just going to take Lawrence along the borders here, and he is going to plop down watchtowers at every turn because we have overextended to the point where we have no idea what's going on within our own lands. And I don't have any lords within Groningen or Cologne or Antwerp because they're all at war. Captain Nigel here is leading a small band of Gallo-Glass mercenaries, and they're going to march towards Hamburg in order to reinforce, well, not so much reinforce, but join up with the assault because these guys are going to be badass. Just you wait. They may end up working out. I would probably just laugh my ass off if they ended up just routing within the first 5 seconds of battle. Hugh de Beaune is, of course, waiting for reinforcements, and like I said, we can try to muster up some reinforcements from Lyon. So currently we need some feudal knights, that's Milan. We need some feudal foot knights and some light men-at-arms. We have 1 unit of feudal foot knights ready to go, 2 units of light men-at-arms ready to rock as well. Our bowmen are not doing so hot either. They've lost a few men. We've got 1 weak unit of bowmen. I'm actually just going to merge a lot of these units so I can get a better idea of what's going on. We'll have to grab that unit of feudal knights as well. Mercenary crossbows. And then, of course, feudal foot knights. And I think if I merge those units, they will actually disappear. So we'll wait for these 2 units. There we go. That should be more than enough reinforcements for Hugh de Beaune. He has his mangonel ready to rock as well. Oh shit, he actually has 2 units of crossbows. Not bad at all. And once Hugh de Beaune receives those reinforcements, he can actually march probably directly on Venice. I thought I had a spy somewhere around... Oh, it's Edgar. Edgar of Kingsbridge. And he's going to take a look at Venice, which is extremely undermanned. So if we grab Hugh de Beaune, we could possibly capture Venice without much of a fight. It's just a matter of what the Doge is doing. It looks like he is... I would say he's going to march towards Bern, but I really cannot say for sure. So next turn, we'll grab Ralph of York. We'll try to coax Captain Werner here into an assault. In we're keeping an eye on Magdeburg just to see what they do. Next turn, we'll assault Hamburg and capture the walls. We'll starve Frankfurt out a little further. We got Miles Mordaunt here recruiting an army. Jasper Multiveres is going to have to return to Toulouse just because we are wary of the Aragonese because they are, of course, allied with a lot of our current enemies. So it's not too much of a stretch to say that they would join this war. It looks like the only thing that Gilbert Scrope is missing in Bordeaux is a mangonel. And where can I recruit a mangonel? Nowhere other than Angers. So we're going to recruit this mangonel in Angers, send it south. We shall ship it south, what a tongue twister, and give it to Gilbert. What's eating Gilbert Scrope? And once he receives that mangonel, I think that's pretty much his entire army ready to go. We're going to leave Gilbert within Bordeaux for a little bit. Just to keep an eye on the Aragonese. But if we don't see any movement from the Aragonese, then of course we can, send him elsewhere. We could possibly invade the Aragonese. Hard to say. I I thought we would have had a spy somewhere close to the Spanish Peninsula, but it doesn't look that way. So we'll recruit one in Toulouse. There we go. Which will appear in the next 2 turns. You know what? I think we can actually end the turn. There's not a whole lot going on. Well, we can actually attack good old Captain John here in Gotland and then march on Kalmar. So I think that's what we'll do. We'll grab our army, Guy Seaton, and we shall quickly organize our army with all of our bowmen, our Vikings, and then of course our sword units, followed by our spear units. There we go. Now Guy Seaton is ready to rock. He's going to attack Captain John. I just remembered, though, we are recruiting a bunch of Highlanders in Inverness and retraining them because we recruited those Galloglass mercenaries, and I think, you know, the Highlanders might be able to match the Danes, maybe, possibly, filling that light armor-piercing infantry niche that the Danes also have. I think it's their Viking Raiders. They just tear through my cavalry. But anyway, we've also got a rebel army we'll have to deal with eventually. And I think, actually, David of Rouen can handle that quite easily. But before we end the turn, let's just get Guy Seaton to attack Captain John here, which is pretty much entirely composed of spearmen and a few Viking Raiders. Look at these guys, Viking Drengjar. These dudes look totally badass, but they're just militia, so we should be able to handle them quite easily. But in actual fact, they are not spear units, but they are sword units. And they have very few spear units, so this is actually not a bad army at all. It's kind of rounded out with spear, sword, and axe. No missile units to speak of, though, so we may have some issues, but we have a massive cavalry advantage, so this should be quite easily. I'll see you guys on the battle map.
There'll be no escaping us now! Attack!
Holy fucking shit, this is an amazing battlefield. The rebels, the Norse rebels actually have a massive sea to their back. So what's going to happen here is we are going to run these assholes to the very sea. They're going to end up drowning. Look at these guys' swords. That is scary as shit. They're actually wielding swords of pure darkness. I don't know if you've been watching my Banner Saga series, but I'm getting some serious dredge tones from these stone obsidian swords that they appear to be wielding. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to move all of my lines forward. I've got, of course, my Viking Raiders either flank, 3 units either flank, and then I've got my sword and spear units at the center flank. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to skirmish a bit with my archers because we have massive missile superiority, and then I'm going to try to get some rear charges off with my knights whilst they charge into my lines. And of course I can flank with my Viking Raiders. These guys actually look kind of shitty. I don't think they have, well, they do have armor upgrades, but they still look like bags of shit. My Norse archers actually don't look too bad. Well, they're pretty sweet with those little shields actually, but they just look like our basic peasant archers. We're going to try to overwhelm their Norse archers with our archers and just pepper the shit out of them with arrows, salt, and pepper, if you know what I'm saying. My knights are now getting into position. It looks like we've got some Viking Raiders squaring off with us, which is not a really good option. Well, they're a better option than these Drengjar. They're all light infantry units, though. Not too good. So what we'll do is we'll just fucking pull back a little bit. I'll square up 1 unit of knights and they'll charge, and then I'll cycle charge with both of these units. I just have to get them to hurry, and then on the other flank I'm going to do the exact same fucking thing. And if I was these Norse rebels, I would probably be really upset with that. I'm going to have to pull back my archers very quickly here because they're being charged by Drengjar, so I'm going to intercept with a unit of Viking Raiders, hopefully. So here we go. I'm going to get a unit of knights to charge into the rear of these assholes. On this flank, same thing. I'll get my general to follow along. Here we go. I don't really know what these guys are doing. They're just kind of balling up. Oh, shit. These Yangvar, or Dringvar, or Drengjar, that's their name, they're now fighting to the death. They've broken because my Viking Raiders have flanked them. I'm going to... oh, shit. Some more Drengyar are charging my Viking Raiders. I'm going to intercept on the left flank, draw a line on the right, get a unit to intercept those guys. I could possibly get my sword infantry to march forward as well to meet them. Looks like my knights have met some of those units in a charge. And we'll get, what's his nuts? I forget his name. He's going to charge into these Vikings, but not quite yet. We'll pull these dudes back. We don't want to charge all that way. We could possibly tire out these infantry, no problem. We'll get a good charge off with these knights on that unit of Vikings. Looks like my sword units are now engaged in combat, like so, and we'll try to get some encirclement going on the left flank here. My Viking Raiders may come into a bit of an issue because it looks like a unit of Spear Militia, well, 2 units of Spear Militia are about to encircle them, which is not really great. My Viking Raiders are going to, well, not my Raiders, but my Norse Archers are going to continue firing at those enemy Norse Archers. My Cavalry is now charging into these Drengyar, and holy shit, we just wrecked them. We destroyed the fucking captain easily. Captain John has fallen because Feudal Knights just tear through light infantry units on the charge like no problem. Those Viking Drengyar are now fleeing because all of our units are just tearing through them. We've actually routed a massive amount of these rebels fucking immediately. On our left flank, though, my cavalry is making short work of these Norse units. So we'll get our general to charge into the rear of these Spear Militia, supported by this further unit of Feudal Knights. And here we go. We'll grab this unit, and they can possibly rout the remainder of the rebels in the center of the field. It looks like my Spearman Sergeants have been pretty useless this entire battle, unfortunately. There we go. My Feudal Knights are going to charge these Viking Landsmen. I didn't notice these guys before, but they're going to be quite strong. We'll tie them up with some of my Viking Raiders, and then we'll charge them with our cavalry, and that should be the end of it. My cavalry is just completely mopping up right now. I don't know where my general has gone. Oh, okay, well, there we go. We have 1 victory, and now we can charge and chase down these prisoners, execute them, and pretty much just sail unopposed into Kalmar. And the Danes will just, they won't see it coming. They'll be sitting there eating their Lutefisk. Do Danes eat Lutefisk? Or is that like a Swedish-Norwegian thing? Iceland? I'm not sure. It's Scandinavian. I'm sure I just offended like a large majority of you Scandinavians watching, but you've got to understand that I'm a big idiot, and I don't really know. But nevertheless, the Danes are going to be eating some weird Norwegian shit. Oh my god, Norwegian, Scandinavian shit. And we're going to ride in and just wreck their days. Okay, you know what? I'm going to ride down these prisoners, and as always, I'll see you with the stats. So there you have it. That was a clear victory. We only lost like 200 men, and we pretty much annihilated an army of 2,000 Norse rebels, so that's pretty good for us. Pretty fucking good. There we go. The Battle of Gotland, 1244 AD. And now to the campaign map. So what I think I'll do is I'll grab Guy's army, move it into Visby. I'll retrain a few units before we advance. For example, this weak unit of Viking Raiders, Feudal Knights, and that's pretty much it. Perhaps this unit of Raiders as well. Next turn, we'll board this fleet with our new priest, Guy's Seaton's army, and then we can sail on Kalmar. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll have time for another turn this episode. Just 1 turn takes up an entire episode, my god. I think, though, I have decided on what our new series is going to be. For those of you unaware, by the time this series reaches episode 60, I'm going to hibernate it and replace it with a Fall of the Samurai campaign. That's right, I've decided on a Fall of the Samurai campaign. I was pretty much decided to begin with, but I did ask some of your opinions. Some of you said that, you know, Viking Conquest, the new Mountain Blade expansion, would be fun to watch, but unfortunately I think it's quite buggy right now, so we'll wait for that to, you know, wait for some updates to drop, and then we can go from there. I think that I would like to play the Game of Thrones, Telltale Game of Thrones adventure game, of course, but that may arise once my Banner Saga campaign, or my Banner Saga series is done, so I think I am decided that we'll play a Fall of the Samurai campaign. We'll play an Imperial faction, if you guys don't mind. That is a modern faction with Gatling guns, modern rifles, cannons, ironclads, the whole lot. And then we can basically capture all of Japan. It'll be super fun. If you're not on board, then I think we'll just have to tie it to the tracks, twirl our mustaches, and let the train loose, because I don't know where I'm going with that. But anyway, I think we'll have to end the episode here. Let me know what you think about that. An Imperial faction for Fall of the Samurai. I was thinking like Nagyoka, perhaps, if that's how you pronounce it. Nagyoka. And then there's, of course, always the Satsuma, I believe. And I haven't really looked at the factions, to be honest. I haven't looked at the factions yet. So we've narrowed it down to Imperial factions. So let me know what you think about that. Imperial versus traditional, and then we can even further narrow it down to the faction itself. But anyway, one more episode until this series is frozen. But until then, I'll catch you guys next episode.